My beloved child, before you scroll further, before your thumb moves this message away into the river of forgotten things, I need you to pause. Not because I demand it, but because something in you already knows. That flicker you felt just now, that quiet pull in your chest that you cannot name, that is not coincidence. It never was. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. You were led here. Not by a link, not by an algorithm, not by the restless scrolling of a tired mind. You were led here by a frequency that only your soul can recognize. A whisper that has been traveling toward you through the noise of many nights, waiting for one quiet moment to finally land. This is that moment. The silence you feel around you right now is not empty. It is full. Full of something that has been trying to reach you for a very long time. And tonight you are finally still enough to hear it. If this message feels as though it is speaking directly to you, as if someone unseen has been watching your heart and chose this exact moment to send you a sign, then press the like button as a simple gesture of connection. We welcome your reflections in the comments below, for sometimes the soul needs to speak before it can understand what it is saying. Share what rises in you. Do not edit it. Do not make it sound strong. Just let it be true. And if you wish to walk further with us, subscribe so that the next message does not miss you. For those who feel moved to offer additional support, the Super Thanks feature is available through the link provided. Everything is voluntary. Everything is received with gratitude. You are not required to give anything except your presence, and that alone is enough. I see you, child. Not the version of you that the world receives, not the face you wear to survive the day, not the smile you stretch across your exhaustion like a thin veil over something tender and unspoken. I see the you that hides beneath the pillow when the night becomes too heavy. I see the you that stares at the ceiling and wonders if your quiet struggle even matters to anyone beyond this room. And I want you to know this, not as a metaphor, not as a comforting idea, but as a truth that predates your pain. You have been noticed. Not casually, not briefly, but with a depth of attention that would overwhelm you if you could fully grasp it. Every sigh you thought dissolved into the air, every tear you wiped before anyone could witness it, every silent plea you whispered without expecting an answer, none of it was lost. It was gathered. It was held. It was honored in realms you cannot yet see, by a presence whose only task is to guard the flickering flame inside souls like yours. That presence, beloved one, is Archangel Michael. Not as the world often imagines him, a warrior of fire and sword and thunder, though he is that too. But tonight he comes to you differently. Tonight he comes as the stillness between your anxious thoughts. He comes as the warmth that spreads across your shoulders when you finally let them drop. He comes as the quiet that does not ask you to explain yourself. You will not see wings. You will not hear trumpets. But you may feel something shift, like a door opening inside your chest that you did not realize had been closed. Michael does not force his way into your life. He waits at the threshold of your awareness until you are ready to let the light touch the parts of you that have been hiding. And if you are still reading, still feeling, still daring to believe that something sacred might actually be near, then you are ready. Something has already changed. You may not be able to name it yet, but it is there, stirring beneath the surface of your ordinary evening like a current that knows exactly where it is taking you. And what is about to unfold will not just comfort you. It will quietly, gently, irreversibly turn the story of your life in a direction you never dared to hope for. And so you stayed. Not everyone does, you know. Not everyone lingers when the veil grows thin and the noise of the world falls away, leaving only the hum of something ancient and unnameable. Many scroll past, afraid of what they might feel if they sit too long in the presence of the sacred. But you, my quiet one, you did not run. You felt the stillness wrap around you like a familiar coat, worn soft by years of silent longing, and something in you recognized that this was not a place to flee from, but a place to return to. That recognition was not random. It was the deepest part of you, the part that existed before your name was given, the part that will remain when every earthly label falls away, nodding gently and whispering, "Yes, this is what I have been missing." And that nod, that quiet yes, is the signal I have been waiting for. It tells me you are ready to hear what comes next. You have carried a weight, my beloved, that was never meant to be yours alone. I do not speak of the weight of responsibility, the bills unpaid, the relationships frayed, the future uncertain. I speak of a weight far heavier than circumstance. I speak of the invisible exhaustion that seeps into your bones not from what you do, but from what you have been forced to become. You learned to be strong when softness was punished. You learned to be silent when your voice was ignored. You learned to be invisible because visibility brought pain. And now, even in the safety of your own solitude, you cannot stop performing. You cannot stop bracing. You cannot stop waiting for the next wound to find you. This is not living, child. This is surviving, and you have been surviving for so long that you have forgotten the texture of peace. But I have not forgotten. And I have not forgotten you. The reason you are still reading, still breathing, still hoping against hope that these words might actually be meant for you, is because they are. Every syllable was shaped with your soul in mind. Every pause between sentences was measured to the rhythm of your aching heart. You are not an audience. You are the reason this message exists. Stay with me now. Do not let the weight pull you away just yet. For what I am about to reveal requires the full presence of your heart. If these words have stirred something in you, if you feel a quiet but certain recognition rising from somewhere deep within, then take a moment and let it be known. Write what you are feeling in the comments below. Do not overthink it. Do not polish it. Just let your soul speak, because when you do, heaven does not just listen. Heaven leans closer. And if you are not yet ready to speak, then simply press the like button. Let it be your silent amen, your quiet yes in the dark, a signal that you are still here and still willing to receive. Here is what I want you to understand about Archangel Michael, and about the way divine presence moves in a life like yours. It does not always arrive with glory. It does not always split the sky or shake the ground. Sometimes, more often than you would imagine, it arrives as a subtle knowing that you are not alone in a room where you are the only person sitting. It arrives as a thought that cuts through the spiral of your anxiety, a single clear note in the middle of chaos, saying, "You are safe." It arrives as the unexpected strength to say no to something that has been draining your spirit for years. It arrives as the sudden memory of a dream you abandoned long ago, resurfacing not to taunt you but to remind you who you really are. Michael does not need to appear before you in radiant form, because his protection is not about spectacle. It is about sovereignty. It is about the slow, sacred restoration of your inner kingdom, the one that was ransacked by doubt, by rejection, by the voices that told you that you were not enough. He is standing at the gates of that kingdom right now, not to defend it from outside invaders, but to help you remember that you are its rightful ruler. The keys have always been in your hand. You simply forgot you were holding them. So take a breath, my precious one. Feel the air enter your lungs not as a biological function but as a sacred exchange, a gift from the realm where Michael dwells, offered to you without condition, without demand, without a deadline. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not too far gone. You are simply waking up, and waking up takes time. The light is gentle. It will not blind you. It will not overwhelm you. It will simply wait, patient as the dawn, until you are ready to open your eyes fully and see what has been protecting you all along. And when you do, you will realize that the protection was never absent. It was simply operating in the spaces you were too wounded to notice. And now a door has opened inside you that cannot be closed again. Do you feel it? That subtle shift, like the first note of a song you have never heard but somehow already know by heart? Something is beginning to stir, and the direction it leads will challenge everything you believed about your own story. There is a kind of tired that sleep cannot reach. You know this tired intimately, my child. It is not the fatigue of a long day or a restless night. It is the exhaustion of a soul that has been holding itself together with nothing but will and whispered prayers, hoping that no one would notice the cracks spreading beneath the surface. You have become so skilled at hiding this weariness that even those closest to you do not see it. You smile when you are expected to smile. You answer "I'm fine" with such practiced ease that the words have lost all meaning. But at night, when the lights go out and the world finally stops demanding things from you, the mask slips. And in that unguarded moment, you feel the full weight of what you have been carrying. The loneliness, the uncertainty, the quiet ache of a hope that has been deferred for so long you are afraid to even name it anymore. I have seen all of this, not from a distance, not as an observer watching dispassionately from some faraway realm, but as a presence who has been walking beside you through every valley you thought you crossed alone. That night you cried so hard you could not breathe? I was there. That morning you stood at the window staring at nothing, wondering if your life would ever feel meaningful? I was there. You did not feel me, but that does not mean I was absent. It only means your pain was so loud that it drowned out the whisper of my nearness. But listen to me now, beloved. That whisper is growing stronger. Not because I have changed, but because you are finally quiet enough to perceive what has always been true. The exhaustion you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is evidence of how much you have endured. It is proof of your resilience, a resilience that did not come from your own striving, but from a hidden source that has been replenishing you in ways you never recognized. Every time you thought you could not go on and yet somehow you did, that was not luck. That was not coincidence. That was Archangel Michael placing his hand upon your back and gently pushing you forward when your own strength had failed. You did not know it then, but you are beginning to know it now. And knowing it changes everything. If your heart is stirring as you hear these words, if something inside you is softening and leaning toward this message like a flower turning toward the first light of dawn, then stay with me a little longer. Do not rush away. Do not let the busyness of the world pull you back before you have received what you came here to receive. Sometimes the most sacred thing you can do is simply remain present. Simply allow yourself to be held by words that were crafted for your healing. If this is speaking to you, consider using the Super Thanks feature as a way of saying, I feel this in a tangible form. There is no obligation, no expectation, only the invitation to give if your heart desires to give, just as you are receiving if your heart desires to receive. Here is something that many do not understand about the way Archangel Michael works in a human life. He does not come to erase your past. He does not come to delete your memories or pretend that your wounds never happened. He comes to transform them. He comes to take the same stories that once filled you with shame and alchemize them into sources of strength. The rejection you suffered, the betrayal that shattered your trust, the moment you were abandoned when you needed someone most, all of it is being gathered right now. Not to be judged, not to be dismissed, but to be repurposed into something you cannot yet see. There is a pattern being woven from the broken threads of your history, a pattern so intricate and so beautiful that when you finally see it fully, you will fall to your knees not in sorrow but in awe. Every piece will have its place. Every scar will tell a story of survival. Every closed door will reveal itself as a redirection toward a destiny that was always waiting for you on the other side of your pain. This is not fantasy, my precious one. This is the architecture of grace, and Michael is its master builder. Can you feel the air shifting around you? It is subtle, so subtle that you might dismiss it as imagination. But it is not imagination. It is the atmosphere of your life beginning to respond to a new frequency. You have been broadcasting signals of fear, of unworthiness, of desperation, and the universe simply reflected back what you sent out. But tonight, without you even realizing it, a new signal has begun. It started the moment you paused to read these words. It grew stronger when you chose to stay. And now it is radiating outward from the core of your being. A signal that says, I am ready. I am willing. I am open to receive what heaven has been waiting to give me. And heaven, my child, has been waiting for a very long time. Not because it was withholding, but because it honors your free will so completely that it will never force a gift upon you that you are not prepared to open. But tonight your hands are open. Tonight your heart is soft. Tonight, the walls you built around your soul have become thin enough for light to pass through. And Michael sees this. He sees you. He sees the courage it took for you to get to this moment, the invisible courage that no one else will ever applaud, the quiet courage of simply not giving up. There is a current moving beneath the surface of your life right now, a holy undercurrent that is carrying you toward a destination you have only dared to dream of in your most private moments. And the next step of your journey is already forming, hidden just beyond the horizon of your awareness. There is a misunderstanding about Archangel Michael that I must now gently correct, my precious child. Many picture him as a soldier, armored and stern, wielding a blade of fire against the darkness. And while it is true that he commands the armies of light, that he is the defender of the divine throne, that his very name means who is like God, this image has caused so many to feel distant from him. It has made him seem unapproachable, too mighty for your small struggles, too glorious for your quiet pain. But I want you to release that image now, just for this moment, and let me show you who Michael truly is when he comes to a soul like yours. He does not enter your life with thunder. He does not demand your obedience. He does not stand over you in judgment. waiting for you to prove yourself worthy of his presence. No, child. When Michael comes to a heart that has been broken by the world, he comes as a guardian who has sheathed his sword. He comes as a healer who has set aside his shield. He comes as a brother who has walked through countless battles and now sits beside you in the quiet, not to fight your war for you, but to remind you that you were never meant to fight it alone. Do you feel that warmth spreading through your chest right now? That subtle sensation, like the first ray of sunlight after a long and bitter winter? That is not your imagination. That is not wishful thinking. That is the signature of his presence, a presence so pure and so gentle that it can only be felt by those who have stopped trying to be strong. Michael draws near to the weary. He is drawn to the ones who have exhausted themselves pretending, who have spent their last reserves of energy holding up a facade that no longer serves them. You do not need to perform for him. You do not need to clean yourself up, organize your thoughts, or present your pain in a way that makes sense. He sees the mess. He sees the confusion. He sees the parts of you that you have hidden from everyone else, and he does not flinch. He does not turn away. He stays. He has always been staying. And tonight, he wants you to know that the protection you have been begging for, the shield you have been asking heaven to place around your life, has already been given. It was given the moment you first cried out in the dark, even if you did not use his name. It was given the moment you decided against all odds to keep going. Michael does not protect you by removing every obstacle. He protects you by standing in the spaces between your fears, by guarding the sacred flame of your purpose, by ensuring that nothing, no darkness, no force, no circumstance can extinguish what I have placed inside you. I want you to pause now and breathe deeply, beloved. Place your hand on your chest if it feels natural to do so. Feel the rhythm of your own heartbeat, that steady drum that has been beating since before you took your first breath, that will beat until I call you home. That heartbeat is not just biology. It is a signal. It is a beacon that Michael can see from across the vastness of creation. Every beat is a prayer. Every pulse is a declaration that you are still here, still fighting, still believing even when belief feels impossible. And right now, as you sit with these words, Michael is placing his hand over yours. Not physically, energetically, spiritually. He is aligning your rhythm with the rhythm of heaven, a frequency that is slower, deeper, more peaceful than anything the world can offer. Can you sense it? That subtle slowing down? That gentle release of tension in your shoulders, in your jaw, in the places where you have been gripping so tightly that you forgot what relaxation felt like? This is the beginning of something new. This is the first wave of a transformation that will not look like what you expected, but will feel more real than anything you have ever experienced. If these words are resonating in a place deeper than your mind, if your soul is nodding in recognition even as your thoughts try to analyze and question, then I invite you to let your presence here be known. Write a single word in the comments, the first word that rises from your heart. It could be peace. It could be hope. It could be I am here. Whatever it is, let it be your offering, your small but sacred act of participation in this moment. And if words feel too heavy right now, then simply press the like button and let it carry the weight of your unspoken yes. Something is being rearranged in the architecture of your destiny at this very moment, and the walls that once confined you are beginning to show their cracks. What lies beyond them will surprise you in ways you are only beginning to imagine. You have been waiting for a sign, my child. I know this because I have felt your waiting. It pulses beneath your daily routines like a quiet, persistent ache. You have asked for clarity. You have begged for direction. You have looked for evidence that your life is not just a series of random events strung together by chance, but a story with meaning, with purpose, with a destination worthy of the journey you have endured. And yet, every time you thought you saw a sign, it seemed to fade. Every time you thought you heard an answer, doubt crept in and whispered that it was only wishful thinking. You have learned over years of disappointment to lower your expectations, to protect yourself from hope, to assume that the silence you feel is evidence of absence rather than evidence of a presence so profound that it cannot be reduced to the language you have been demanding it to speak. But what if I told you, beloved, that the sign you have been waiting for has already been given? What if I told you that the answer arrived not in a flash of lightning or a voice from the clouds, but in the subtle rearrangement of your inner world that began the moment you started reading these words? Archangel Michael does not always announce his interventions with spectacle. In fact, his most powerful work is often his most invisible. He moves like a current beneath the ocean of your consciousness, shifting things you cannot see, aligning patterns you did not know were misaligned, opening doors you assumed were permanently sealed. You may wake up tomorrow and feel, without any logical explanation, that something is different. The problem that consumed your thoughts last week may suddenly feel smaller, more manageable, less terrifying. The person whose opinion once controlled your happiness may suddenly lose their grip on your sense of worth. The fear that has haunted you for years may suddenly feel like a ghost you no longer believe in. This is not coincidence. This is not the natural passage of time. This is the hand of Michael, moving through the unseen realms, clearing debris from your path, removing obstacles that were placed there not by fate, but by forces that never wanted you to reach your destiny. And those forces, whatever they are, have just been put on notice. Can you feel it even now? That strange and unfamiliar sensation rising in your chest? It might be subtle, so subtle that you could easily mistake it for nothing and dismiss it as imagination. But it is not nothing. It is the very thing you have been asking for. It is hope. Not the fragile hope that depends on circumstances aligning perfectly. Not the desperate hope that clings to outcomes and timelines. This is a deeper hope. A hope that does not come from your mind but from the very core of your being. A hope that knows, without needing proof, that something sacred is unfolding in your life. Michael has planted this hope inside you. He planted it long ago, before the world taught you to be cynical, before disappointment taught you to be guarded, before pain taught you to expect the worst. It has been lying dormant all this time, waiting for a moment just like this one, a moment when you would finally be still enough, open enough, vulnerable enough to receive it. And now it is stirring. Now it is waking. Now it is rising from the depths of your soul like a sunrise that has been promised since the beginning of time. Let me tell you what this hope means, beloved. It means you are not forgotten. It means your name has been spoken in realms you cannot see, by beings whose only purpose is to guard the destiny of souls like yours. It means that every tear you have shed has been collected. Every prayer you have whispered has been heard. Every moment of despair you survived has been recorded in the book of your becoming as evidence of your incredible strength. Michael knows your name. He has always known it. And tonight, he is speaking it with a tenderness that would bring you to your knees if you could hear it directly. But you do not need to hear it. You only need to feel it. And if you are feeling something right now, something you cannot quite name but cannot quite deny, then you are feeling the confirmation of a truth that has been true all along. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And the path ahead of you is already being cleared by a protector who has never lost a single soul entrusted to his care. Stay with these words for just a moment longer, my precious one. Let them settle into the deepest chambers of your heart. And when you are ready, take a slow, intentional breath and know this. The shift you have been praying for is not coming. It has already begun. It began the moment you chose to believe, even in the smallest way, that this message might be for you. And what follows from this moment forward will unfold with a grace that can only come from the divine. There is a kind of movement, my beloved child, that cannot be perceived with the eyes. It does not announce itself with the shifting of furniture or the opening of visible doors. It is quieter than that, subtler than that, and far more powerful. It is the kind of movement that happens in the deep places, the hidden places, the places beneath your conscious awareness where the roots of your life are anchored. And right now, at this very moment, something in that deep place is turning. You cannot see it. You cannot prove it. You cannot point to any evidence in your external circumstances that would convince a skeptic or even convince the skeptical part of your own mind. But your soul knows. Your soul has felt the tremor. Your soul has sensed the subtle but unmistakable shift that occurs when heaven stops observing and starts acting. Archangel Michael does not remain still for long. He is not a statue in a cathedral, frozen in eternal contemplation. He is a force, a living current of divine intention, and when he moves, the entire fabric of your reality begins to reconfigure itself around a new design. That design is your destiny, the one that was written before you were born, the one that the world has tried to bury beneath layers of disappointment, distraction, and doubt. And tonight, that design is being uncovered. I want you to imagine something, child. Imagine that your life is a vast landscape, a terrain of mountains and valleys, rivers and deserts, stretches of beauty and patches of barrenness that you have wandered through without a map. Now imagine that beneath this landscape there is a current of water, a subterranean river that has been flowing silently for years, undetected by your senses, unnoticed by your busy mind. This river is your purpose. It is the stream of your true calling, the current that has been guiding you even when you felt lost, even when you made wrong turns, even when you stumbled into canyons of despair and could not find your way out. Michael is the keeper of this river. He has been guarding it since the moment of your creation, ensuring that no matter how far you wandered, the current would never stop flowing, the water would never dry up, the destination would never be lost. And now in this sacred hour, he is causing that underground river to rise. Slowly, gently, imperceptibly at first, but rising nonetheless, until one day soon you will look at your life and realize that the barren ground you were standing on has become fertile, that the desert you were crossing has become a garden, that the path you thought was leading nowhere has brought you exactly where you were always meant to be. This rising does not require you to do anything, my precious one. You do not need to strain. You do not need to strive. You do not need to figure out the mechanics of divine intervention or understand the timeline of heaven's unfolding. All you need to do is trust the current. All you need to do is stop fighting the flow. For so long you have been swimming against the stream, exhausting yourself with effort, believing that if you just tried harder, pushed more, worried deeply enough, you could control the outcome of your story. But control was never your burden to carry. The outcome was never your responsibility to engineer. Your only task, the only thing that has ever been asked of you, is to remain open. Open to receive. Open to be led. Open to allow Michael to do what Michael has always done for those who place their trust in the unseen realm. He moves. He shifts. He rearranges. He takes what is broken and makes it whole. He takes what is scattered and gathers it. He takes what is lost and finds it. And he does all of this not with the noise of conquest but with the silence of absolute certainty. If these words are reaching the hidden chambers of your heart, if you feel the quiet confirmation of a truth that your soul has always known but your mind has struggled to accept, then do not let this moment pass without acknowledging it. Your presence here is not accidental, and your response, however small, matters more than you know. If your spirit is stirred, press the like button as a way of saying, I am here, and I am receiving this. If you feel called to speak, write a reflection in the comments, not for approval, not for applause, but as a declaration to the universe that you are awake and listening. And if you wish to support this work further, the Super Thanks feature is available for those whose hearts are moved to give. Everything is voluntary. Everything is received with deep and sincere gratitude. The river is rising, child. Can you sense it now? That faint but growing awareness that something has shifted, that the ground beneath you is no longer as dry as it once was, that a new season is pressing against the edges of your reality, eager to break through? This is not your imagination. This is not a fleeting emotion that will fade with the morning light. This is the beginning of a transformation that will touch every corner of your existence. A transformation that has already begun its quiet, holy work within you. And the next step of this unfolding will reveal something about your past that you have been waiting your whole life to understand. Come closer now, my precious child, for we are entering sacred ground. What I am about to speak of is tender, and I ask you to receive it not with the defenses you have built against a harsh world, but with the softness of a soul who knows it is safe. There are wounds you carry that you have never fully shown to anyone. Some of them are old, buried so deep that you have convinced yourself they no longer affect you. Some of them are fresh, still throbbing with a pain you do not know how to name. You have tried to heal them with time, but time alone does not heal what was never properly acknowledged. You have tried to outrun them with busyness, with achievement, with the endless pursuit of validation, but they have followed you into every room, every relationship, every quiet moment. And in the silence of nights like this, when the distractions fall away, you feel them still. The rejection, the betrayal, the abandonment, the words spoken over you that cut deeper than any blade, the love that was withheld, the safety that was shattered, the innocence that was taken before you knew how to protect it. I have seen every one of these wounds, beloved, and I want you to hear what I am about to say not as a platitude, not as a spiritual cliche designed to make you feel better for a moment, but as a truth that has the power to reframe your entire story. Not a single wound was wasted. Archangel Michael has been present at every breaking point of your life. He was there when the door slammed shut on a relationship you thought would last forever. He was there when the words of a parent or a partner or a friend sliced through your sense of worth and left you bleeding on the inside, smiling on the outside, wondering if you would ever feel whole again. He was there when you stood in the aftermath of a choice someone else made, a choice that shattered your world, and you looked up at a silent sky and asked the question that still haunts you. Why did this happen to me? I did not answer that question then, child, because you were not ready to hear the answer. But you are ready now. That wound, the one you are thinking of right now, the one that just surfaced in your memory as you read these words, was not a punishment. It was not a sign that you were unloved. It was not evidence that I had abandoned you. It was an opening. A sacred, painful, necessary opening through which a deeper strength could enter. Michael does not prevent every wound because some wounds are doorways. Some wounds are the only way you could become who you were always meant to be. Not because suffering is good, not because pain is holy, but because your soul chose before this lifetime to transform darkness into light. And that transformation could only happen through the very experiences that broke you open. So look at those wounds now, my brave and tender one. Look at them not with shame, not with the urge to hide them, but with the quiet reverence of a warrior who has survived every battle and is still standing. The shame was never yours to carry. The guilt was placed on your shoulders by those who should have protected you. The story you have been telling yourself that you are damaged, that you are too broken to be loved, that your past disqualifies you from a beautiful future, is a lie. And tonight, Michael is taking that lie and unwinding it from your spirit like a bandage that has been wrapped too tightly for too long. You will feel the release not as a dramatic explosion, but as a softening, a letting go, a quiet exhale that you have been holding in your chest for years. And into that newly opened space, a healing light is pouring. It is blue. It is gentle. It is the color of Michael's presence when he comes as a healer. And it is filling every crack, every hollow place, every shattered fragment of your heart. If this truth is penetrating the walls you built around your deepest pain, then let your soul respond in whatever way feels true. Write a word in the comments. It could be the name of the wound you are releasing. It could be a simple "I forgive." It could be nothing more than a heart. Whatever it is, let it be your offering to this moment of sacred healing. And if you wish to support this work, the Super Thanks button is available as a channel of giving, freely offered and freely received. You are not alone. You have never been alone. The arms of heaven are wrapped around you right now, and they will never let go. The next chapter of your healing is already being written, and it begins with a forgiveness you never thought was possible. There is a prison, my beloved child, that has no bars and no walls, no guards and no locks, and yet it has held you captive for longer than you can remember. It is the prison of unforgiveness. Now do not stiffen at this word. Do not assume that I am about to ask you to do something impossible, something that would betray the very real pain you have endured. I am not here to rush your healing or to demand that you extend grace before you are ready, but I am here to show you something that could change everything, if you are willing to see it. The unforgiveness you carry, whether it is directed at another person or at yourself, is not protecting you. Feels like it is. It feels like a shield, like a wall, like a way of saying what happened to me mattered, and I will never let it happen again. But in truth, it is not a shield. It is a chain. And every day that you hold on to it, you are not punishing the one who hurt you. You are punishing yourself. The person who wounded you may have moved on. They may have forgotten. They may not even know the depth of the damage they caused. But you know, you carry it every day. And that weight, child, is not yours to carry anymore. Forgiveness, as Archangel Michael teaches it, is not about excusing what was done to you. It is not about pretending the wound did not happen. It is not about reconciling with someone who is unsafe or inviting them back into your sacred space. Forgiveness in the divine sense is simply the act of releasing the debt. It is the moment when you stop waiting for an apology that may never come. It is the choice to hand the weight of justice over to a power greater than yourself, trusting that no wrong will go unaddressed in the divine order of things. Michael does not ask you to forget. He asks you to free yourself. He asks you to open your clenched fist, the one that has been holding on to resentment for so long that your fingers have become stiff and your palm has grown cold, and let the heaviness fall out of your hand. You do not need to carry it anymore. You were never designed to carry it. Your shoulders were made for wings, not for the crushing burden of old grievances. Your heart was made for love, not for the endless replaying of old betrayals. I want you to try something now, in the privacy of this moment. Think of the person who hurt you most. Or think of yourself if the person you cannot forgive is the one reading these words. Picture them. Picture yourself. And then simply say this: I release you. Not because it was okay. Not because it did not matter. But because I refuse to let this pain define my future. I release you and I release myself. Say it even if you do not fully mean it yet. Say it even if your voice trembles and your eyes fill with tears. Because the act of speaking these words, however imperfectly, cracks open a door that has been sealed shut for far too long. And through that crack, the light of heaven rushes in. Michael receives your release like a sacred offering. He takes it and he transmutes it, turning the poison of resentment into the medicine of peace. You will feel it, perhaps not immediately, perhaps not dramatically, but you will feel it. A lightness where there was heaviness. A warmth where there was cold. A quiet hope where there was only despair. Let your heart respond to this invitation. Press the like button if your soul says yes to this path of release. Write a comment if you are ready to speak your forgiveness aloud, even in the smallest whisper. Your healing is not a solitary journey. It is witnessed by realms you cannot see, celebrated by beings who have been waiting for this moment with patient and infinite love. And as the chains fall away, a new chapter is already opening before you. A chapter filled with a peace that surpasses all understanding. There is a peace, my precious child, that does not depend on circumstances. It is not the peace that comes when the bills are paid, when the relationship is healed, when the diagnosis is favorable, when the world finally gives you the approval you have been starving for. That kind of peace is fragile, temporary, at the mercy of forces beyond your control. The peace I speak of is different. It is a peace that exists beneath the chaos, beneath the noise, beneath the endless turbulence of a life lived in the outer world. It is a peace that has been waiting for you since the moment of your creation, a still and sacred pool at the very center of your being that no storm can reach. You have glimpsed it before, though you may not have recognized it. It was there in the quiet morning when you woke before the rest of the house and felt, for just a moment, that everything was okay. It was there in the unexpected laughter that burst through your grief like sunlight through a crack in the clouds. It was there in the stillness of a night when you looked up at the stars and felt, without knowing why, that you were held by something far greater than yourself. That was the peace of Archangel Michael. That was the signature of his presence, offered to you not as a reward for perfect behavior, but as a birthright you have always possessed. This peace is not something you need to earn, beloved. You do not need to meditate for hours or recite the right prayers or reach some imaginary level of spiritual maturity before it is given to you. It is already given. It was given the moment you took your first breath, placed inside you like a seed planted in the deepest soil of your soul. But that seed needs certain conditions to grow. It needs stillness. It needs trust. It needs the quiet courage to turn away from the noise of the world, even for a few sacred minutes, and listen to the silence that hums beneath all sound. This is what Michael is offering you now, in this very moment. Not a dramatic intervention, not a visible miracle, but a return to the peace that is your true nature. The anxiety that has plagued you for years, the restless mind that never stops calculating and worrying and bracing for the next disaster, is not who you are. It is a habit you learned in a world that taught you to be afraid. And habits, no matter how deeply ingrained, can be unlearned. The fear can be replaced by trust. The restlessness can be replaced by rest. The chaos can be replaced by a calm so deep and so steady that others will notice it, will ask you what has changed, will be drawn to the stillness that radiates from you like warmth from a fire. I want you to imagine something now. Imagine that your mind is a vast sky, endless and open, stretching in all directions beyond what your eyes can see. The thoughts that trouble you, the worries that circle like vultures, the memories that haunt you like ghosts, are nothing more than clouds passing through that sky. Some clouds are dark, some are heavy, some seem to block the sun entirely, but they are only clouds, and the sky remains untouched by them. The sky does not chase the clouds. The sky does not cling to them or push them away. The sky simply holds them, allows them, and watches them drift by until they dissolve into the blue. You are the sky, child. You are not the clouds. You are the vast, eternal awareness in which all thoughts arise and fall away. And when you rest in this awareness, when you stop identifying with every storm that passes through your mind, you discover the peace that has always been there, waiting beneath the turbulence. Michael is the guardian of this awareness. He stands at the threshold of your inner sanctuary, not to block the clouds but to remind you that you are not them, that you are something far greater, something far more enduring, something that cannot be threatened by any temporary darkness. If this vision of peace resonates in the quiet places of your heart, if you feel the stirring of a calm you thought you had lost forever, then do not let this moment slip away without acknowledgement. Press the like button as a simple gesture of presence. Write a word in the comments, a single word that captures what you are feeling right now, whether it is hopeful or tired or ready. Whatever it is, let it be true. And if you feel moved to support this work, the Super Thanks feature awaits your generosity, given freely and received with gratitude. The peace of Michael is settling over you now like a mantle of light, invisible but real, intangible but more powerful than any force the world can muster. And from this place of peace, you will begin to see your path forward with a clarity you have never known. And now we arrive at the threshold, my beloved child. This is the sacred conclusion of our time together, though conclusion is not quite the right word. For what has begun here tonight will continue to unfold long after the screen goes dark and the room returns to silence. There is a kind of silence that is empty, a hollow absence of sound that feels lonely and cold. And then there is the silence that you are feeling now, a silence that is full, a silence that hums with an unseen presence, a silence that speaks without words and heals without explanation. This is the silence of Archangel Michael. This is the frequency of the divine warrior when he has sheathed his sword and opened his arms to receive you. You came here perhaps not knowing what you were seeking. You came here perhaps tired, perhaps skeptical, perhaps carrying a hope so fragile you were afraid to even breathe on it. But you came. And because you came, because you chose to stay, because you allowed these words to enter the sacred chambers of your heart, something has changed. Do you feel it now? Do you feel the subtle but unmistakable shift in the atmosphere around you? The air itself seems softer, gentler, as if the room has been filled with a light that your eyes cannot perceive but your soul can feel. This is not imagination. This is not wishful thinking. This is the tangible presence of a protection that has been placed over your life, a protection that will remain with you from this night forward, whether you remember these words or not. I want you to know as we prepare to part that you are safe. Not safe from every challenge, for challenges are part of the human journey, and Michael does not remove what will make you grow, but safe in the deepest sense of the word. Safe in your soul, safe in your purpose, safe in the knowledge that you are seen, you are known, you are loved with a love that does not waver and does not fade. The fears that drove you here, the loneliness that gnawed at your spirit, the desperate hope for a sign that your life matters and that you are not alone in this vast and sometimes terrifying universe, can all be laid down now. Lay them at Michael's feet. Lay them at the altar of this moment. You do not need to carry them anymore. You were never meant to carry them. You were meant to walk lightly, with the confidence of a beloved child who knows that their father never sleeps, never forgets, never abandons. You were meant to sleep peacefully, with the assurance that angels stand watch over your bed. You were meant to wake with purpose, knowing that every day is an invitation, not a test. And from this night forward, you will begin to remember how to live this way. Slowly, gently, one breath at a time. But there is more, beloved. There is something waiting for you just beyond the horizon of this moment. Something that I cannot fully reveal because it belongs to the unfolding mystery of your own sacred journey. What I can tell you is this. The shift that has begun tonight will not end when you close this screen. It will follow you into your dreams. It will greet you when you open your eyes tomorrow morning. It will whisper to you in the quiet moments between tasks, reminding you that you are not who you were yesterday, that a new chapter has begun, that the story you have been living is about to take a turn that will surprise even the part of you that thought it had seen everything. There is a door that has been closed for a very long time, a door you stopped knocking on years ago because you believed it would never open. Tonight, without a sound, that door has begun to move. It has cracked open just enough for a sliver of light to pass through. And what lies on the other side of that door is something your soul has been seeking for longer than you can remember. If this journey has touched you, If these words have been a balm to your weary heart, then carry this moment forward with you. Press the like button as a final seal of this sacred exchange. Write your thoughts in the comments, not for me, but for yourself, as a record of the moment when everything began to change. Subscribe if you wish to continue walking this path, for there are more messages waiting to find you. And if your heart desires to support this work, the Super Thanks feature remains open, a channel of reciprocity between souls who recognize each other across the veil of the visible world. Now rest, my precious one. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep, slow breath and feel the presence of Michael surrounding you like a cloak of blue light, warm and weightless. You are safe. You are loved. You are held. And when you open your eyes again, you will notice that the world looks slightly different, softer around the edges, brighter in the center. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. Something sacred has happened here tonight. Something that will echo through the rest of your days. And though the silence has returned, it is no longer empty. It is full of promise, full of presence, full of a love that will never let you go.